Welcome back to Netrush Report, your home for tennis drama, rivalries, and the stories that keep the game alive far beyond the baseline. If you live for the fire, the controversies, and the emotional twists that define this sport, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the rush. Now, let's dive deep into Coco Gauff's latest comments. The humor, the hidden truths, the shade, and why her words might actually spark bigger conversations about the future of tennis. Coco Gauff, just 21 years old and already world number 3, has been putting together another strong run at the China Open. She had just defeated Belinda Bencic to advance to the quarterfinals, where she's set to face Eva Liss for a shot at the semifinals. But after her victory, the press room turned the spotlight away from her forehand winners and onto one of the sport's most pressing issues, the never-ending calendar. For years, tennis has been locked in a tug-of-war between athletes demanding rest and tournaments demanding entertainment. On one hand, players constantly complain about burnout and injury risk. On the other hand, organizers and sponsors push for more events, more content, and more star power. And somewhere in the middle of all this chaos, exhibition tournaments, events that don't officially count for ranking points, sneak into the calendar and complicate things even further. When Gauff was asked about exhibitions, she gave an answer that was part diplomacy, part truth bomb, and part comedy show. First, she tried to make a distinction between women's and men's tennis. On the WTA side, Gauff explained, exhibitions don't usually take too much energy. They're light, fun, and often feel like practice matches with fans watching. In other words, they don't really interfere with rest or recovery in a major way. But when she turned her attention to the men's side, the gloves came off. "I don't watch men's tennis much," she admitted with a smirk, already sparking laughter. That single line wasn't just a joke. It was a cheeky dig that carried a bigger message. Because for Gauff, the issue wasn't whether exhibitions existed, but how seriously the men's tour seemed to take them. She pointed to examples like the Laver Cup, Federer's brainchild where Team Europe faces Team World, and the upcoming Six Kings Slam in Saudi Arabia, featuring some of the sport's biggest names. Unlike casual hitting sessions, these events require full focus, multi-day commitments, and travel. And that's where Gauff questioned the logic. Coco's comments hit their sharpest point when she brought up the Laver Cup. She wondered aloud whether players received ranking points for participating. When reporters clarified that no, points aren't awarded, but yes, the matches still go into official win-loss records, Gauff looked puzzled. Her reaction was priceless. So it's not really an exhibition then? This moment captured a broader confusion in the tennis world. The Laver Cup positions itself as a hybrid, not a regular tournament, not a casual exhibition. It has Federer's brand behind it, huge sponsorships, massive fan engagement, and players competing at near full intensity. Yet in the official rankings, it doesn't count. And to Gauff, that blurred line seemed bizarre. But then, in classic Coco style, she turned the confusion into a joke. "Well, I guess it's not my fault I don't know. I don't watch men's tennis anyway." It was half shade, half laughter, and completely headline-worthy. Federer's involvement makes this even more fascinating. The Laver Cup isn't just another event. It's a passion project for one of the game's biggest legends. Federer envisioned it as tennis's version of golf's Ryder Cup, creating drama, team spirit, and an annual spectacle. And to be fair, it's been a financial and fan success. But critics argue that events like this, plus the ATP's push for things like the Six Kings Slam, clog the calendar, drain players, and confuse fans. Are these competitions about legacy, money, or both? Do they honor the sport, or dilute it? Coco's comments didn't directly attack Federer, but by questioning the event's place in the schedule, she indirectly raised tough questions about whether tennis really needs these hybrid showcases. The Six Kings Slam is another flashpoint. Scheduled in Saudi Arabia, it brings together 6 of the world's top male players for a high-paying exhibition series. Critics see it as a cash grab, more about politics and money than sport. Supporters argue it grows the game in new regions. Coco didn't linger too long on it, but her broader point was clear. If players are exhausted, why are they committing to multi-day exhibitions halfway across the globe? If rest is truly the priority, something doesn't add up. This isn't just about shade, it's about solutions. Gauff made an interesting proposal. If tours officially ended the season earlier, there should be a designated no exhibitions window where players fully rest. That idea sounds radical, but practical. Tennis has one of the most demanding schedules in all of sports. 11 months of play, no off-season, constant travel. Burnout and injury are inevitable. An enforced rest period could protect players while still leaving room for exhibitions later. But here's the twist. Exhibitions are often where players make their biggest paydays. Sponsors, organizers, and even athletes themselves might not want to give that up. So the tug-of-war continues. What makes this story so compelling isn't just the issue, it's how Coco handled it. She didn't deliver a dry critique. She cracked jokes, made playful digs, admitted her own confusion, and still landed thoughtful points. This is why Gauff has quickly become one of the sport's most engaging voices. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She doesn't hide behind PR cliches, and she manages to be both funny and sharp at the same time. In a sport often dominated by polished, safe soundbites, her authenticity stands out. As soon as her comments hit social media, the tennis world lit up. Some fans applauded her honesty and humor, praising her for saying what many have thought. Men's exhibitions often seem excessive. Others felt she disrespected Federer's legacy project, accusing her of downplaying the Laver Cup's significance. Media outlets ran with the "I don't watch men's tennis much" line, making it the headline. And in the end, Coco once again proved why she's not just a player, but also a personality capable of shaping the sport's narrative. Zooming out, her comments highlight a bigger truth. Tennis is at a crossroads. On one hand, stars are pulling the game into global markets, powered by money and sponsorships. On the other, players are pushing back, demanding sanity in scheduling. Exhibition events sit right at the intersection, offering huge paydays, but also raising serious questions about balance and priorities. And here's the irony. Gauff herself admitted she'd love to play in something like the Laver Cup if the WTA had won, which shows that these events do have value. They just need clarity, fairness, and balance within the sports structure. So, what do we make of Coco Gauff's cheeky dig at men's tennis, her confusion about the Laver Cup, and her broader call for smarter scheduling? Is she simply joking around, or has she cracked open one of the sport's biggest debates? What's clear is this. Coco isn't afraid to speak her mind, even if it ruffles a few feathers. And as she keeps climbing higher in the rankings, her voice will only carry more weight in shaping the future of tennis. This has been the Netrush Report, your home for tennis drama, rivalries, and the stories that matter beyond the baseline. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the rush. Until next time, keep your eyes on the court and your mind on the bigger game.